We're going to destroy all this and get a brand new boat. That's what he said. So then I can see roughly where the bolts are around the window. So, that's all. Welcome to the secret layer. Again, having a few of them. Go around with my pencil. So guys, what I've got now is the original template with all the bolts marked out. Just remember which way which face is. So this face inwards, the bolts are obviously on the inside edge. So I've got to remember that when I've templated out, excuse me, this sits on the inside edge to this as well. So my bolts, I'm going to fashion indentations so the bolts sit in within that, but not shown on the face side. There'll be 4 bolts on the face side, but they'll have caps on them to make them look the part as well. So all I'm going to do now is line this up edge to edge so it won't be a million miles out, and then all I do then is just go like that. So I've got my pilot bit. That won't be a million miles out. They're to go straight through, they're to go straight through. These are to sit behind and stay where they are. It's my plug cutter. I'm just going to try it with this because I don't want to go all the way through, but I want enough just so that the nut sits. Got the plugs drilled out. All you do then, get a screwdriver and just pull that out like that. So it gives a little bit of a hiding hole behind it, so as that pushes up against the nut will just sit in there, and then later on if I need to dismantle it, 1, 2, 3, 4 nuts from the outside edge, and then we can get to these. So it disguises them, less nuts on here, so this looks the part. We'll sand and shape this down later on, not too worried today, this is just get it in place, see if it works or not. So do the rest of them. Easy as that. So we've done both of them. Not going to do too much with it just yet, we'll make sure all fits in place before we go sand shape and do all that, or else you just wasted a lot of effort for nothing. And we don't want a lot of effort for nothing. So see you on the boat. Well, right, go on. Psst, psst, psst. Come on then, you got to see what we've been up to, what we've actually done back in the garage. So here we go. Frame. Up there like that. It's actually a bit out on this end, so I'm going to take a little bit off, make it drop down like that at this end, so this end will drop down a little bit more. This end's fine, so that's that. Show you this. So I've got my bolts. My bolts should sit roughly in line with them holes now, so when that sits up there it hides them bolts. The only bolts you'll see is 1, 2, 3 and 4 at the other end, so then that just bolts up against that. So that's that. This one sits actually a little bit better than the other one, so sit it in roughly. So that's rough, yeah, that's roughly in there now. The only angle I've got to do is take a little bit off the top there, because as you can see, them nuts sit on the actual curve, so it's quite tight up there. So I need to take off that back edge on an angle, and then that'll sit nicely up into the actual corner of the roof there. So that's that. So I wish us luck, guys, and we're now going to fashion it all off, shape it, paint it, and make it look the part. Fingers crossed, guys. Well guys, we've got that nicely sanded now, so we'll put that in place there. We have actually tried it and it sits in there nicely, so that sits there. Then we'll take out 1, 2, 3 and 4 bolts, we'll put longer ones in, drill that, put a nut and bolt on this side, we'll put a cap over the nut to tidy it up. This as well will be painted, but we're just going to set it all in nicely for now, get it looking the part. We'll show you how to cut the foam as well, so it's shaped nicely around that. And then you can see what it will start to look like, and then it's just a case of finish off with painting. Something else to do, we're going to have to nip all these nuts and bolts up again, because the actual foam seal between the actual bolt itself and the window, it's compressed now, so it's slackened up a little bit with some of the nuts, and we are getting slight leaks, but nothing to worry about. It's just a case of nip them all up, and then we'll put some seal as well. What I'll do is I'll put some silicone in the back as well, just to seal the deal. Hey Davey, seal the deal. I don't know how you come up with it, like you're a comedian. So we'll seal the deal with that, and then what we'll do is we'll show you how to do the other side then. All we'll be doing is taking this template, and if you come over here, I'll show you what we do. Right guys, ignore the baldy head hovering to the side of the camera. And what we'll do is, we'll take this piece of cardboard, draw the inside edge, draw the outside edge. Then once we've got that marked up nicely, we've just got to remember, this is mirror image of the starboard side. So starboard side to port side mirror image. And this angle will be now this angle. So remembering that, and also I've got to add 5mm to bring these curved edges inwards. So 5mm to that, 5mm to that. They sit perfectly, so I don't have to do anything with them. The other thing to do is I've got to mark up the nut holes as well. So once this is cut, I'll press this up against the nuts again, do the same as I did there. And then fingers crossed, we've got a mirror image for the actual port side now, so wish us luck. For those of you who haven't seen my previous video where I did this solo, what I do is 8mm nut, tighten it up from the inside. This is what I do on the outside. So that then just rests up against the actual deck of the boat and stops it going anywhere. Easy as that. Well, we've managed to get one in place for now, so it wasn't easy, I'll admit it wasn't easy. It just took a bit of jiggery pokery and we've got it in place. So I'll just show you what I've done. So the longer bolts through there, then all will happen is it'll have a nut and a cap over the top to tidy that up. So you got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So to sit that in was quite difficult, and I just had to drill the holes slightly bigger than I wanted them to. But yeah, it's in place, and it's just a case of take it back off, paint it up. But before that, we'll cut the shape of this foam around it then. Well guys, we're getting somewhere now. I've put Sikaflex around each and every nut now, so that'll seal the deal. Hopefully for a long time now, so we won't have to touch that again. So once the actual frame's back in place, we won't be removing that again for a long while. The frames are now a nice bright white, if I've got my paint right. Pure brilliant white, absolutely brilliant white, not pure white, brilliant. So before I put them back in place, I've got to now stick that back up there, cut all that, and then the frame will sit back in. So keep watching.
And I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Fuck your lies, I'll do what I want.
Well guys, to get the gist of what's going on, the thing I forgot to order was the nuts and washers for these to clamp them up against the frame itself. We can come back to that at a later date. What I can do is I'll carry on, we'll do the same with them two windows and the two front windows, exact same scenario. Something I've decided not to do was to silicone round that edge. It's not actually noticeable now the frame's in place. Plus there's already plenty of sealant on the window itself, so it doesn't actually require any additional silicone. So we're going to leave it actually as is, and then in the future if we have to take that off, it's the case of just undo the 4 nuts and just pop that off to get behind it, just in case anything loosens up without us realising and we start getting leaks again in the future, because we don't want to be sleeping in the soul board, do we matey? Been there, done that, not again, thank you very much. So we'll crack on and we'll see you when we're finished. Thank you for watching, we'll catch you next time on Madcat Sailing. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share with your mateys.